Is Enlisted still trash? Well, hopefully that's something I'm going to answer for you today. And if you don't know what Enlisted is, it's a free-to-play World War II first-person shooter published by Gaijin Entertainment, who have done games like War Thunder. Now, Gaijin call this game an MMO shooter on an epic scale where you can have really big battles playing as various factions in World War II and on various maps set across many different theatres of war. Now, in that description, calling it an MMO on an epic scale, you expect lots and lots of players, and based on the gameplay you're seeing, you can see there's a lot of different people running around. Well, actually, what you're seeing is really AI just running around, because I never saw the player count in each game I played go above 12v12. It only looks like there's so many more people running around because each player commands a squad of brain-dead AI, which I'll get into the AI later in the review. So most of the time, what you're killing is just AI and not actual players. So calling this an MMO is it's just not right. In that case, if 12v12 is an MMO, then Call of Duty is an MMO, Counter-Strike's an MMO. You know, it's just not right. If they want to call it an MMO because many players connect to like a central server to manage their account and buy stuff, then really most AAA single player games can be classified as MMOs because you have to play online for a single player game. So, well, that just doesn't work either, really. So before I specifically go into the gameplay of Enlisted, I want to talk about the progression. So in Enlisted, you have 6 different campaigns. There's the Battle of Moscow, Battle of Berlin, Battle of Stalingrad, the invasion of Normandy, the Pacific, and Tunisia. Now in these campaigns, they will feature the specific factions for who actually fought there, and they also feature their own sort of progression system. You rank up each different campaign to unlock different squads, but really in these campaigns, while they like to label them as separate factions, they are just the same. I mean, in the Battle of Moscow, Stalingrad and Berlin, it is the Soviets v the Germans. And in these campaigns, you will be using the same type of squads, the same types of vehicles, while there might be slight variations, like the basic infantry squad may have a very different variation of a Mosin Nagant. It is still just an infantry squad, and you can put a lot of time into, say, a different campaign, ranking up all the squads for that campaign and unlocking, say, all the Soviet weapons. You then made transition to the Battle of Moscow, for example, and have to start it all over again. And you can even purchase things for your squad, such as weapons and cosmetics, but they are tied to that singular squad, even though really, in a different campaign, you're going to be using the same squad. I don't understand why they've decided to essentially lock squad progression to a specific campaign instead of just having various factions. So you have the Soviets as one faction which will play in their 3 campaigns, and you have the Americans, for example, in their campaign. I don't understand what benefit this is to the player to, say, level up the Stalingrad campaign and all the squads and then start again in another campaign. Really what this boils down to is locking progression to certain maps. Now if you take this to any other game in existence, let's just use Call of Duty for example, because everyone knows what Call of Duty is. You use the M4 assault rifle on whatever map, you rank it up to level 10, you play another map, and then your M4 is level 1 again. That's pretty much what Enlisted does, but not just with weapons, with everything. You're going to have to start leveling up each campaign again, all the squads again. Individual soldiers can level up and get perks. You can rank up and customize weapon. And really, like, why does the game do this? What benefit is there to the player to, say, start again whenever you want to play pretty much a different type of map? I have no answer for that question other than the microtransaction store, which I'll get into microtransactions later. But let's get to the gameplay. So let's start with movement, and movement in Enlisted feels really weightless, like you are pretty much like a camera just floating around, even though if you look down you can see your character's feet, but it just doesn't feel right. I think nearly every first person shooter does it better than Enlisted, like actually give your character some weight, some presence. And also that movement can feel quite janky at times because you do get caught up on nearly every small object in the environment, and they do put lots of small objects around for little bits of cover or just to add some extra detail to the maps. You can also vault and Enlisted, but also jump and climb up and pull yourself up onto stuff, but it's a little bit glitchy. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and the animation sometimes is just, well, a bit janky. It's something that's always been in the game, and it's something that has never really been fixed or worked on, it appears anyway. I started playing this game back in the beta phase, or the alpha phase, I can't quite remember. The game also features a stamina system, and by default you do have quite a small stamina bar, and you will run out of stamina running from your spawn point to the next capture point. I can understand why you'd want to put a stamina bar on your game so the players have to make some better decisions around movement and when to sprint, because it also affects your aiming. Like when you run out of stamina, your gun sways around a lot, so you do sort of need to manage it, but you want to get back into the fight quickly and not just have to walk there or sprint a little bit and wait for your stamina to get back up. I think that's something that needs to be changed, or you can just buy perks and stuff to make your character have a longer stamina bar. Now, as a first-person shooter, you've got to have good gunplay, and Enlisted excels in having bad gunplay. One of the biggest reasons for the bad gunplay is that, like movement, everything feels so weightless. There's no real presence or really anything behind the weapons. It's like you're shooting pea shooters, while the rifles in the game are generally one-hit kill, which are nice considering there's quite a few bolt action rifles. And automatic weapons like SMGs, they're all a little bit different, which is to be a bit expected. I don't really have any complaints about that. But all the weapons generally sound really bad. Like they sound really, really weak. And because of that weightless feeling to the gunplay, those bad sound effects just amplify that feeling like you're not shooting something that's powerful at all. Also, Enlisted has what I count as like a cardinal sin in first-person shooters of having bloom in its automatic weapons. And if you don't know what bloom is pretty much, instead of a bullet firing straight out of the gun, as soon as it leaves the end of the barrel, it just veers off in a random direction straight away, which is not how guns work. It's really a way to casually handle recoil. Like, it's something that's really designed for consoles, because console players, I mean, on a controller, I'm not saying this is the same for everyone, but it's usually harder to control vertical and horizontal recoil at the same time while tracking your target compared to actually using a mouse. So they implement bloom, so bullets just fire off in random directions, and the only way really to control bloom is to stop firing or, you know, not play the game. Bloom is terrible in every shooter, and it just shouldn't exist. One thing that's also a bit of a joke in Enlisted is ammo management. Now, you may be wondering how ammo management is a joke, but here's how it works. As you can see in the bottom right hand corner, it shows you how many bullets you have, like in traditional first person shooters. And when you reload, you would expect however many bullets you need just to be filled back into your gun, like any other traditional shooter like Battlefield or Call of Duty. And with single fire weapons like bolt action rifles where you can individually load single bullets, that's exactly how it works. But when it comes to magazine fed weapons like automatics, what actually happens is you have individual magazines that hold individual amounts of bullets, and you cannot fill those magazines with bullets. So when you reload, what you're actually doing is something like squad, where you're putting in a different magazine, and however many bullets you had left in that magazine will be kept there, and you will load that half empty magazine back into your gun when you later reload. The game doesn't show you or tell you this at all. When it comes to automatic weapons, you still have that normal number ammo count, but yeah, it handles it like something like squad. It's a terrible, stupid implementation in Enlisted. In squad it's fine because it shows you that you have individual magazines and what the state of those magazines are. In Enlisted, it's just like lazy. They just can't show you on your HUD what your current ammo state is like. Now, some people may turn down in the comments and say, oh, but it's realistic. You don't really know how many bullets you've got on your magazine unless you actually put it back in or actually have a look at your magazine. But Enlisted isn't a realistic game at all. It comes across as a lazy implementation of ammo. Like, they just can't show you your magazine states. It's just a number. It's stupid. Earlier I did mention the AI and how they're stupid, and we really do need to talk about that AI because the main game mode in Enlisted is squads, where you take your AI into battle with you, and also, you know, you need to rank them up and give them different weapons as well. So it's really a core feature of the game. But the AI in Enlisted are dumb as fuck. They constantly get in your way, blocking your shots. They like to split up from where you are and just go off wherever they want to. They have zero survival instincts. They're like lemmings from the old PC Lemmings games, where if they see their other AI squad members getting mowed down by a machine gun in front of them, they'll just follow them to their death. The AI in Enlisted have been a problem since day one, and really it feels like they haven't worked on them at all. And one of the biggest selling points of the game is that you can just respawn on your AI squad members when you die, but they're either way behind your original position, like way behind, or in dumb positions where they can get easily taken out because they're just dumb. It feels like the only reason why AI exists in Enlisted is to pad your stats. Because the AI are so easy to kill, you can get a really high kill death ratio because killing someone's AI counts as an actual kill. Like if you see the kill feed on the top right, pretty much all of those kills is a player killing another player's AI. Now let's talk about the vehicles. And the vehicles, they feel like they've been pulled straight from War Thunder, to be honest, with how they handle the damage modeling system. Like when you shoot a tank with another tank, you'll get a little x-ray image in the top right corner to see where your round penetrated and what damage it did, or if it penetrated at all. And they are really like slow and laborious to drive, but that kind of feels like how they should do, you know, because they've been pretty much pulled from War Thunder. And in a large scale game like War Thunder, that's fine, and I think it really fits well. But in this small scale game like Enlisted, they are terrible, absolutely terrible to drive because they are so slow and there's so much like little bits of objects scattered around the levels. You get caught on so many different things, or you have such a small amount of actual room to drive. It's just really bad. However, the most fun I've actually had in Enlisted was using this machine gun tank thing. I think it's an anti-aircraft thing, I'm not sure. And I just use it to gun down waves of dumbass AI. So they're still fun to be had using the vehicles. And let's talk about the graphics briefly. I mean, the game does look pretty good. The footage you're seeing now, I think I was running on complete max settings at 1440p, and it was running smooth constantly with no hitches or no noticeable frame drops. So that's something that's really good for a free-to-play shooter. It runs, I'm going to say, perfectly. And one thing it does well is that in the graphics options menu, there's plenty of options to play around and tweak with. And the sounds, well, earlier I did mention that the weapon sounds are pretty bad, and yeah, pretty much every single weapon in the game just doesn't sound good. Some of the tank weapons sound alright, but generally they're just sort of meh. The explosions sound pretty good though, and while it's odd that I'm saying most of the sounds or weapon effects in the game don't sound good, when it all comes together with like the general battle ambience, it does sort of come together quite well. Like there's a lot going on and it can sound pretty good. But like I said, it's strange considering the weapons individually sound pretty bad. Now, since it's a free-to-play game, it's going to have some form of monetization, just like every other free-to-play game. It's got to make money somehow, so I had a look through, and this is what I found that you can purchase with real money. There's premium currency, a battle pass, a premium profile, premium squads, premium vehicles, premium aircraft, premium weapons, premium soldiers, normal soldiers, campaign level skips, campaign upgrades, soldier perk slots, soldier cosmetics that are tied to one single soldier, and a call sign for your soldier that only you can see. Jesus fucking Christ. I can understand the need for having monetization because, yeah, you got to make money somehow, but do you need to make money off pretty much every single thing in the game? What makes it even worse is that you probably heard me saying premium a lot, apart from, well, premium currency, we can leave that out, is because Enlisted is pay to win. You can skip your way through levels to unlock stuff early. You can just buy premium squads that are fully leveled up. I bought a full premium squad to get early access to the game a few years ago. So yeah, I have a fully leveled up squad with like an upgraded weapon and stuff like that. It is purely just pay to win. Now there will be some people that will defend pay to win, and those people are stupid. Sometimes they'll say, well, it's not really pay to win because you can grind your way to it. It's still pay to win. Some people may say that pay to win means that when you actually pay money, you always win and you can never lose. I don't know how those people exist in society, but that's not what pay to win is. Pay to win is being able to use real money to get any advantage over any other player. It doesn't matter how insignificant that advantage is. If it's an advantage, it is still pay to win. You can even argue that XP boosters or the premium account, which gets you more XP, is pay to win because it lets you level up quicker to get the bigger weapons or more squads or get a more advanced squad quicker. Enlisted's monetization is a pay to win mess. So can I give my recommendation to play Enlisted? No. It's not a good shooter. Its monetization is terrible. And yeah, it's just not a good game. It is free though, so you could try it out. You may enjoy it. It's not for everyone. You know, people do have different opinions. And my opinion is that Enlisted isn't worth playing at all. Stay away from this game.